Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Here in this channel we're gonna do 3D art and talk about stuff while we watch the process. It'll be fun for some people, I believe, so let's get to it. Today I'm talking about my journey on how I created a game-ready likeness of Kylo Ren. This project has been a long time coming, and I want to talk about the process from sculpt to render. Now, I've been working in the industry for around 3 years professionally, internationally, but I've been doing 3D art for 7 years. Then, how come this is my first time tackling a likeness sculpt? Well, that's what I ask. Well, it all started in 2016 or 2017 when I moved to Spain. That's where I joined a school and ended up taking a master's degree in 3D modeling. Funny enough, I originally went there to study animation, but somehow I ended up in the modeling program instead. I think they didn't have the quota to open the classroom or something. I don't know. But honestly, that changed my life forever. I was taught ZBrush and I fell in love with it. It became a creative outlet for me because I've always wanted to do art, but I cannot draw a stick figure to save my life. Back then, I spent most of my time creating characters that I loved, like Splatoon, Squids, Rick and Morty. Just Rick, not Rick and Morty, like Rick from Rick and Morty. And I even tried to sculpt a Darth Maul, but let's just say we got mixed results, right? So one of the things that held me back was fear of copying references too closely, because I thought that people will judge me for not being original enough. Like I need to do my own style, whatever, right? Or they'll call me out for the quality. Or looking back, I was just a naive person, right? I was just thinking that my art couldn't be just that. I needed to be validated, right? But I practiced a lot, and it took me about 3 to 4 years just sculpting. And then eventually that practice led me to make a big step in my life, and I moved to Canada. And I joined a school in Canada that will like hone my abilities even further and make me actually like a professional, right? Because back then I was just doing whatever I wanted. Getting to Canada was like, I wanted that so badly. Like for 2 years, I was waiting for a visa, and then COVID hit. And well, at the end of it, I could go to Toronto. I was originally planning to go to Montreal, but I ended up in Toronto, which was good, I think. I joined a college. I was feeling confident. I thought, okay, I'm gonna master my skills here, and I will be finally able to sculpt whatever I want. It's gonna be people hyper realistic with detail and stylized, or something in the middle, I don't know. But when I go to school, we were actually disencouraged from doing likeness work, which is really, really insane if you think about it, because that's what the industry wants. And it was considered too hard for students to attempt. Well, that's what the professor said. And I think part of that was because the instructors didn't actually know how to do it well, and they risk teaching that to students and then having portfolios like like not great anatomy and stuff like that, and then the school will look bad. And I think they were trying to get some fame to school, and I don't know, they just say nobody can try this, you have to stop, you need to do something else. So well, but I understand that likeness is really tough, and it's an entire different beast from stylized or generic character sculpting. But eventually I reached the point where I felt ready, like years later. I felt ready to take that challenge and heads on, right? So now that that's out of the way, I can tell you like sculpting a likeness is, first you have to copy the character. You need to find references, and you can just measure stuff with your fingers. You can measure stuff with a ruler, and then you will copy the nose, copy the face. Now that you have the general shape, then you can see the character. Like if you ask somebody else, like, oh, who's this guy? And if they say immediately like, oh, that's the guy from Star Wars, right? Then you're doing something right. People will recognize the face even if it doesn't look like perfectly. But well, I think as a first step, I think it's pretty okay if people can recognize it at the first glance. Then they will say like, oh, this part is a little bit different, maybe the hair is not that great. Doesn't matter. If you want to start, you start, and then you do one, and then forget about it, then start another one, right? It's just practice. So now we have a solid mesh, base mesh. So the next step is to start adding secondary, tertiary details like pores, the skin pores, subtle asymmetry, facial landmarks, stuff that tell you like this is Adam Driver, right? And after that comes texturing. So the texture will help bring Kylo Ren to life. And at this point, he's still just the actor. But once I apply these scars and the character to it, and like dirtiness and stuff, it will become Kylo Ren instead of Adam, right? So, oh, I forgot. I'm using XYZ texturing as base mesh. I'm using the base mesh of the scan. And also I'm using it for the UVs, so I can apply the albedo map, and that's all valid, right? That's the industry standard process that you should do, and you can try something else. You can try doing it from scratch. I did it from scratch for a long time. That will help you respect the anatomy. But once you know about that, like the only way to get super detail is to get a scan mesh and try to do it yourself, like changing one guy for another. Maybe sometimes you will have to do male to female, and you will know these skills if you practice before with your bare hands and starting from a sphere or whatever. And there's people that can do it from a sphere, but if you're in the industry or you're in an environment that you have to do this thing for money, nobody at EA Sport will say like, hey man, did you do that from scratch? They will say, what the fuck? Just turn it in. We need it yesterday, right? So that's why this is the ultimate workflow for people that knows about anatomy and stuff, because this thing is easy to damage, right? You do something wrong and then you end up with a mushy mesh, let's say, or wobbly mesh. After we finish texturing, we need to do the hair. That's one of the things in 3D that almost everybody dreads, because there's ways to do it like with XGen, but that's not really good for a character, right? In a big studio, you will have a person that will just do hair and hairstyles, but if you have to do it yourself, then you will have to put each and every strand of hair by hand. So I usually don't do this part. This is my first full set of hair that I do, like a person hair. I use this time GS Curve Tools and Fiber Shop, and for some reason I enjoyed the process. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be using this a little bit more. And hopefully in the future, there are gonna be even better tools to do this kind of processes that are super painful. And you know what? Actually, next episode is gonna be AI and what I think it's good for right now, what I hope to see in the future. And I think I have the technical knowledge this time around. Like I really know about AI, and there's a lot of myths about it, and there's some structures that can change, or it could change the world forever. So I'm gonna talk about it, and we'll see that in the next episode, right? Well, I think the head is pretty much done for now. We still have to do some more things like the body and the saber, and of course his iconic costume, those layer sleeve, the belt, the boot, all of it. And there's still a long way to go, but hey, there's no rest for the wicked, right? Once everything is model and texture, we gotta do lighting and rendering. And lighting can completely change how your model looks. Like honestly, if you do a bad job, it can get really ugly really fast, right? So you need to do it at least a little bit okay, so people can see your work properly and you can show off all the hard work you've been doing so far. And after rendering the final shot, I can say I'm pretty proud of this project. I think it's one of my favorites I've worked on, and not just because of the result, because I think I've done better with other characters, but it was fun. This was fun, really fun, and I'm pretty proud that I can do a likeness now, right? It's not the best in the world. It's not gonna be like Hossein Diva or anything, but you can see Skylar Ren, and that's what I care about. I'm gonna do better in the next project. That's gonna be the next video. So this was my first attempt. I like this sculpt. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you follow along. And for people that just watch the entire video, if you like it, please subscribe, give me a like. It will help me a lot, and I will really appreciate it. I usually gonna post between 3 weeks to a month, depending on the project. So please wait for it, and click the bell, everything that you can do. And thank you very much for watching. That's it. Thank you guys.